Contrary to popular belief, the Joker's criminal behavior in The Dark Knight is not driven by a deep desire to cause chaos, watch the world burn, or corrupt Batman into killing him. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate why these theories fall short and reveal the Joker's actual motivation behind everything he does. By the end, not only will you be able to understand the Joker in a way you never have before, but you'll also be able to approach The Dark Knight with a completely fresh perspective. So without further ado, let's start by dismantling the most common misconception, that the Joker's ultimate goal is to cause chaos. The main reason we believe this in the first place is because he tells Harvey,
"I'm an agent of chaos."
As the audience, we believe it, not just because of what he's actually doing, but because he also claims,
"I'm a man of my word."
But here's the twist. The Joker's word changes depending on who he's speaking to. He wants to
Kill the Batman.
until he doesn't.
I don't want to kill you.
He wants to learn who Batman really is,
Batman must take off his mask and turn himself in.
then later decides he'd prefer to stay in the dark.
I've had a change of heart. I don't want Mr. Reese spoiling everything.
He tells Gamble one story how he got his scars,
He sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face.
but Rachel a totally different one.
I stick a razor in my mouth and do this to myself.
He tells Batman he wants to prove Gotham citizens are animals,
I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
but he tells the Chechen he just wants to blow things up.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste. I enjoy dynamite and gunpowder.
In short, we can't take him at his word. So, when he tells Harvey,
Do I really look like a guy with a plan? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. You know, I just do things.
it's a lie. There's no way that he can rob a bank, arrange for various murders, and stage elaborate public attacks without meticulous planning. The Joker isn't trying to convince us that he's an agent of chaos. He's only saying it to try and manipulate Harvey to become one, and I'll get into why in a bit. Sure, the Joker does unleash mayhem on Gotham, but most of his actions are not to
Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order.
Until their spirit breaks completely.
robbing a mob bank. At the time, it's just about the cash. Killing Gamble, eliminating a threat. Murdering innocent people, a tactic to pressure Batman to turn himself in. Kidnapping Harvey and Rachel, a way to make Batman feel responsible for whichever one dies. Planting a bomb in a man's stomach, just a way to escape from custody. Burning the mob's money, a lesson to the mob that crime isn't just about profit. In short, none of these acts have anything to do with causing chaos. While corrupting Harvey into a killer does align with the idea of breaking Gotham's spirit, the Joker's earlier attempts to kill Harvey indicate that this was never his goal from the start. Rather, corrupting him was just something he ran with when the opportunity arose. The same goes for ordering a hit on Coleman Reese, since there was no way that the Joker could have predicted that Reese would discover Batman's identity, much less try to reveal it on live television. The only evidence that fits the goal of breaking Gotham's spirit is when he publicly announces,
Come nightfall, the city is mine, and anyone left here plays by my rules.
and then tries to persuade two ferries to blow each other up. But this is not some master plan he developed over the course of the film, because if it was, he would have never bothered with the mob or Batman in the first place. So if manipulating Gotham's citizens to kill each other wasn't his intention from the start, then causing chaos and breaking Gotham's spirit are not really what's driving him. So what about the idea, as Alfred puts it, that
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
the problem with this theory is that the Joker looks away almost every time he commits an act of violence. In the bank, he shoots the bus driver without looking. When killing Gamble, he focuses on one of his henchmen during the actual killing, and then doesn't stick around to watch the remaining henchmen fight to the death. When he throws Rachel off a building, he watches Batman, not her. When he burns the mob's money, he turns his back to it. He doesn't watch the hospital while it's blowing up, and when he's about to detonate the ferries, instead of pressing the button with glee, he stalls to tell Batman a story of how he got his scars. So, if the Joker just wants to watch the world burn, Seems odd that he looks away every time it's on fire, which means that he's clearly after something else. So what about the theory that everything he does is to try and corrupt Batman into killing him? The reason this theory doesn't work is because most of his plans have nothing to do with Batman, like the bank robbery, the hospital, blowing up GCPD, and the ferries. Furthermore, rather than try to get Batman to kill him consistently throughout the film, he really only attempts it once.
Come on, I want you to do it, I want you to do it. Come on, hit me, come on, hit me, come on, hit me! Ah! Hit me!
Sure, he laughs when Batman throws him off a building and seems frustrated when Batman saves him from falling, as well as when he doesn't get run over by his bike, but all this reveals is that he enjoys testing Batman's moral boundaries, not that he has an actual death wish. If his goal was truly to get Batman to kill him, then he wouldn't give Harvey the same opportunity in the hospital. And as a side note, for those who think that the Joker is holding the hammer back to prevent the gun from firing, he doesn't keep his finger on it the entire time, which means Harvey definitely could have shot him. So with all this in mind, it's a little hard to pinpoint what the Joker wants because his desires seem to change with the wind. He wants the mob's money, then he burns it. He kills off his partners, then he recruits more. He tries to kill Harvey, then lets him go. He pressures Batman to reveal his identity, then orders Gotham to assassinate the guy who's about to do it. But despite these contradictions, there is a method to his madness that fits just about everything he does. And that method is sadism. A sadist is someone who derives pleasure from inflicting physical and/or psychological pain and suffering on others. This is the Joker's true objective. Chaos is just the byproduct that results from pursuing it. So let's take a look scene by scene to see how he deliberately incorporates sadism into all of his plans. Take the bank robbery in the beginning of the film. While his accomplices are busy silencing the alarm, breaking into the vault, providing a getaway vehicle, and handling the crowd, the Joker purposely assigns himself the role of torturing civilians by forcing live grenades into their hands, which is unnecessary because they're already being held at gunpoint. Once his partners are dead and the money is loaded onto the getaway vehicle, rather than just leave, he goes out of his way to shove a grenade in the bank manager's mouth and reveals his face to savor the man's expression of terror. None of these choices help the heist in any way whatsoever. The only reason they're added is so that he can indulge his own sick idea of fun. And while it might seem that the robbery is just about stealing money, it's really just to be able to afford to enact other sadistic plans later. When confronting the mob, the Joker doesn't bring a gun or backup for protection, but a jacket rigged with grenades, specifically to scare the hell out of everyone in the room. Everyone, that is, except Gamble, who is too angry to be afraid. Upon ambushing Gamble, the Joker could just kill him and his men immediately, but he decides to torture them instead. First, he puts a knife in Gamble's mouth to savor his horrified reaction while recounting how he got his scars. Then, he watches the terror that slicing Gamble's face sparks in one of his henchmen. And lastly, he forces Gamble's men to fight to the death. The Joker's goal isn't just to form an alliance or eliminate a threat, it's to enjoy making them squirm while doing so. Turning his sights on unmasking Batman, the Joker could arrange to spring a trap, but instead forms a plan that needlessly involves hurting innocent people. It starts with kidnapping a Batman impersonator. Rather than just kill him immediately, he makes it a point to tell him that he needs to be afraid.
We don't have to be afraid of scum like you.
Yeah, you do, Brian. You really do. Look at me.
Look at me!
And then laughs while torturing him to death on camera. As if that wasn't sadistic enough, he then hangs the body outside the mayor's window for a jump scare and sends the video to the press, not only to plague Batman with guilt if anybody else dies, but also to instill a sense of dread that anyone in Gotham might be next. And speaking of dread, the Joker intentionally plants the DNA of his next 3 targets with the Batman impersonator's body because he wants them to know he's coming, hoping it will fill them with fear. He then murders Loeb and Cirillo remotely to unnerve the police with the fact that he can get to anyone, anywhere. And then he tries to murder Harvey in public, specifically to horrify a crowd of innocent civilians. Rather than shoot those who stand up to him, he takes the opportunity to torture them with a knife and recount another grotesque story of how he got his scars to savor their discomfort. And when Batman arrives, rather than shoot him, he instead throws Rachel out a window so that he can laugh at Batman's desperate attempt to save her. If the Joker's aim was really just to kill his targets or to uncover Batman's identity, he could obviously take far simpler routes, but he doesn't because his real aim is to enjoy leaving psychological scars on those forced to watch as well as those scrambling to stop him. This is why the Joker's next move is to murder 2 people who share half of Harvey Dent's name, inform the police where to find their bodies, and leave evidence with them detailing how he plans to kill the mayor. If he wanted the mayor dead, he could easily snipe him through his office windows. But the Joker intentionally attempts it while surrounded by an army of police officers because demonstrating to Gotham that the police are too inept to keep anyone safe satisfies his sadistic side. It is therefore no surprise that he stages his attack on the police convoy in the manner that he does. Instead of simply leaving a fire truck to block an intersection to divert the convoy, he purposely sets it on fire, amplifying the sense of impending doom and signaling that he isn't afraid to target the police, even when they're heavily armed. When he finally strikes, he does so in a way meticulously designed to prolong Harvey's terror and therefore heighten his own enjoyment. He starts by firing a handgun that he knows can't penetrate Harvey's vehicle, then moves on to a shotgun which he also knows won't do it. Then he upgrades to a rocket launcher, but first uses it on the police car before aiming it at Harvey's vehicle. Seizing control of the truck himself, he smashes a car that isn't even in his path just for fun, and relentlessly chases down Harvey's vehicle, thrilled that he's making people run for their lives.
I like this job. I like it.
What the Joker also likes is to seize unexpected opportunities to be sadistic when they present themselves, such as after Batman crashes his truck. The Joker knows that Batman is too afraid to kill anybody, so he purposely forces him to confront that fear by goading him to break his rule. Though disappointed when Batman resists, his mood quickly rebounds when Batman's suit electrocutes one of his henchmen, prompting him to laugh at his pain, kick him while he's down, and spit on him to add insult to injury. Upon being captured and taken into custody, the Joker shifts to one-on-one psychological torture. First, he attempts to demoralize Gordon.
Does it depress you, Commissioner, to know just how alone you really are?
Then he paints Batman a dismal worldview.
To them, you're just a freak. They'll cast you out. See, their morals, their code. It's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
But the fun for the Joker doesn't really get going until he sees Batman's reaction after informing him that he knows he's romantically involved with Rachel.
The way you threw yourself after her. Look at you go!
Does Harvey know about you and his little bunny?
Loving how effectively he has managed to get under Batman's skin, he laughs, not just because
You have nothing to threaten me with.
but because he knows how tormented Batman will be when he reveals that Batman is going to have to choose whether Harvey or Rachel will die.
And that's the point. You'll have to choose.
And for the cherry on top, he deliberately switches the addresses on Batman so that Batman will inadvertently seal the fate of the person he hoped to save, and thereby have to mourn a loved one. The Joker's plans for Harvey and Rachel reflect a similar twisted strategy. He arranges for them to be tied to chairs in rooms rigged with explosives, informs Rachel that only one of them will make it out alive, sets timers so they can visibly count down their final moments, and leaves an open communication channel so that one will have to listen to the other one die. Considering that he could have just ordered their kidnappers to shoot them, it seems clear that the only purpose any of this serves is to indulge his sadistic desires. As Batman rushes off to try and save Rachel, the Joker is left in the interrogation room, unhandcuffed and with a single unarmed police officer. Instead of attacking him to gain his freedom, he takes the opportunity to psychologically torment him with vivid details of killing his friends.
Do you want to know why I use a knife? Guns are too quick. You can't savor all the little emotions. How many of your friends have I killed? In their last moments, people show you who they really are. So, in a way, I knew your friends better than you ever did. Would you like to know which of them were cowards?
The Joker knows he can escape the room whenever he wants, so the only reason he says any of this is just to enjoy seeing the look of disgust on his face. Similarly, the Joker knows that he could have arranged for a corrupt cop to release him from custody, just like he arranged for one to poison Loeb's whiskey, but that wouldn't satisfy his desire to hurt someone in the process. So instead, he manipulates a mentally ill man to let him sew a bomb inside his stomach under the false pretense that it will
Make the voices go away.
and somehow has him arrested and sent to the same police station that he's being held at. After detonating the bomb, the Joker could just leave, but he decides he'd rather kidnap Lau first because he wants to use him for his next act of sadism, which is to locate the mob's money and burn it with Lau on top, right in front of the Chechen, just to see the look of dismay on his face. And then, instead of shooting him, he makes it clear he's going to slice him into pieces and feed him to his dogs to prolong his pain and suffering. At this point, the Joker shifts his focus from gangsters to innocent civilians. He calls up a television station to announce that
If Coleman Reese isn't dead in 60 minutes, then I blow up a hospital.
which terrifies not only Coleman Reese, but every hospital worker, hospital patient, and relative of each. The Joker doesn't really care whether Coleman Reese lives or dies, or whether the hospital actually blows up. What excites him is knowing that he's causing hundreds of civilians to lose their minds with worry. While waiting for this to play out, the Joker realizes that a terrific way to further torment the city would be to turn their symbol of hope, Harvey Dent, into a psychotic killer. So he goes to the hospital, manipulates him into embracing chaos, and releases him back into Gotham, amused that people will feel dismayed and hopeless when they find out that Harvey is not the White Knight that they believed in. When Gotham fails to murder Coleman Reese, the Joker does indeed blow up the hospital, but on his way out, he abducts news reporter Mike Engel and a bus full of hospital patients to use for his next sadistic scheme. While laughing, he forces Mike Engel to read a chilling message on video that he then sends to a TV station.
Come nightfall, the city is mine, and anyone left here plays by my rules. If you don't want to be in the game, get out now. But the bridge and tunnel crowd are sure in for a surprise. Ha 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 ha.
Once again, the Joker's delight comes not from actually blowing anything up, but from forcing civilians to live in fear that he will. Next, the Joker heads to the Pruitt building where he instructs his henchmen to pose as hostages and forces the hospital patients he kidnapped to pretend to be his henchmen. He then purposely places them by large windows so that if police snipers shoot them, they will be filled with guilt when they later learn that they've executed innocent civilians. For his final act of sadism, the Joker rigs 2 ferries with explosives, gives the detonator for each to the other boat, and tasks each with blowing the other up by midnight or he will blow up both. Up until now, the Joker has been able to elicit a reaction of pain from every target he has set his sights on. But this time, his targets refuse to play his game, opting to accept death rather than live with the psychological weight of committing mass murder. Failing to elicit a desired reaction of pain frustrates the Joker, as it would any sadist. Realizing his plan has failed, he shifts his focus to Batman, realizing that if the ferries won't give him the pained reaction he craves, maybe Batman will. So he dangles the threat of blowing up both boats and starts to tell him a story of how he got his scars in one last-ditch effort to induce fear for his personal satisfaction. When Batman throws him off the building, the Joker cackles maniacally, not because he's happy to die, but because he's delighted at the thought that Batman will forever live with the guilt of having committed murder. Until Batman saves him, of course. So, if it's all just about sadism, why does he make such elaborate plans? Why not keep it simple with kidnapping someone when the urge strikes and torturing him to death like every other serial killer? The reason is because the Joker thrives on the thrill of escalation. The emotional high he gets from hurting people isn't enough unless it's bigger than the last time.
What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No.
I know I said we can't take him at his word, but here I think we can, because his words actually match his actions. Consider, at the beginning of the film, he's robbing a bank and killing greedy gangsters. By the middle, he's attacking police officers with rockets. And by the end, he's threatening everyone in the city. His plans keep growing in scale because he's yearning to exceed his previous emotional highs. And that's the crux of his motivation, a ceaseless need for more. More pain, more suffering, more fear. The Joker might claim to be an agent of chaos and say that he's fighting for Gotham's soul, but these are just lies to manipulate and torment Harvey and Batman. He doesn't really want to watch the world burn, nor does he have a death wish. What he really wants is to feel the ultimate emotional high that comes from inflicting sadistic torture on the largest scale possible. And if you keep this in mind the next time you watch The Dark Knight, I guarantee that everything the Joker does will seem far clearer than it ever did before. If you want it to, that is. But what do you think? Does the Joker's every move really come down to sadism, or did I overlook a crucial detail that debunks the whole theory? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please check out my other videos on the Dark Knight trilogy, and be sure to subscribe so you'll be notified when my videos go up on an even scarier villain than the Joker, the Terminator.
Get out.
I'll post the links in the description once the videos are live. Hope to see you there.